how to stop thinking about food all day when trying to lose weight. So in the next 3 to 5 minutes, I'm going to be talking about essentially what most people want is, to be able to eat for hunger and for satisfaction and not have to think about it all day, think about all these things in terms of protein, carbs, fats, calories, points, sins. Should I feel guilty about this food? All these things. Now, if you're coming in, give me a hello. I am doing a free talk on 20th of October, 8 p.m. We've now got a date about how to overcome comfort eating and essentially start to feel in control again. If you want more information on that, there'll be a link in the comments to join a private group. In this group, this is where the talk will be held, and you can watch on replay as well. It's going to be about an hour long, by the way, so it's going to be quite in depth. Hey, Sandra. So going back to this, how to feel like you're not kind of thinking about food all day, and I totally understand this, but this is going to be like devil's advocate here. This is sometimes actually more of an issue relating to that voice in our head that kind of just says that you can't do this because 1, you won't be able to stick to this forever. 2, it assumes you weren't thinking about food before. And here's what I mean with this is, yes, of course, you don't want something that's taking over your life. It's like a full-time job. But, hey, Catherine, hey, Sandra. But at the same time, you've got to consider that right now, if you look at your current situation, you might be still thinking about what you're having for breakfast, still thinking about what you're having for lunch, still thinking about what you're having for dinner, feeling guilty about eating certain foods. And I had this conversation with someone not too long ago, and they said they didn't want to really think about food all the time, which I totally understand. We need to get in control of this and make it kind of a habit. But at the start, it's about being more aware of what we're doing. So this is something that I'm going to be talking about in the training I'm doing on the 20th of October. And I asked her how what her like day-to-day life looked like, how she was around meals, and what came up was that at least kind of 3 times a week, she would have a bit of a binge, bit of a comfort eat, drink maybe more so than she wanted to, then felt guilty the next day, then would overcompensate a little bit more by trying to not eat, delay breakfast for as long as possible, to eat as little as possible, and then overeat a bit later. And we concluded that she was actually thinking about food all day anyway, really. So the fact she was going to really make herself aware of her decisions, not even about food, it was more about being aware of her decisions and taking 3 to 5 minutes a day, and this is all this was, to really question her thoughts, her beliefs, and what her behaviors. Because when you understand them, you can start to make better decisions. Now, I'll give you an example of some of the questions that we went through, because it's really easy just to kind of fall back into that space where we just act habitually and don't without kind of questioning these. And it was quite confusing because she was like carbs, protein, fats. And really, when we got to the bottom of it, the main issue was the 5 o'clock boredom. You ever had that? So she eats around 6:15, 6:30, 6:15, and 5 o'clock, she's bored, stressed, pretty much wants a treat for the end of the day. And we looked firstly, physiologically, let's look at her nutrition in the day. Well, she's often overcompensating, which means she skips breakfast, which means she's hungry. Result of that, later on, she'll want something that is quick, easy, convenient. She's stressed, tired, so anything will make her feel better. She'll perceive foods as more rewarding than they actually are. So unless you're planned at that time, you are potentially vulnerable. So first and foremost, we made sure we increased her protein earlier on in the day. We know that protein helps make you fuller for longer. People subconsciously eat less when they have more protein. It's more inefficient to break down. You burn more calories, even digesting as normally. That's not my main point, but it's still something to think about. We know that that's going to help people's satiety, hunger hormones, which is great. You're win-win. You're working with your body now rather than eating as little as possible. I want to move my cereal down by 5 grams, whatever it is, and then we're starving, right? So first off, we got the physiological side. Then we got the psychological side. It's a habit. Every time I finish work, I just kind of want something. The kids are sometimes eating, picking, they got food around. That environment is kind of really promoting that. So what we did is a bit like a kid in their lunchbox, we planned a meal for that time. And that sounds odd because it's like an hour and a bit before dinner, but it gave her the option to have it. So she had the option to have, and it's a small meal or something like yogurt, berries, something that she actually wants, like, don't get me wrong, but rather than by having a set meal, it was planned, it was a part of the plan. She could have it, still be part of the plan. We'd still at the end of the week see kind of how she's got on. She actually, by thinking about food potentially seemingly more, that voice would say, oh, you're thinking about food all the time now. She was actually thinking about food less. Here's why. Because instead of going around the kitchen going, oh, should I eat that? Yeah, I'll have one of them. Bite of them, bite of that. Oh, I'm ruining my dinner now, aren't I? For an hour, getting a bit of that, bit of that. I'm just picking the licks, the taste, the bites. Ever had that? Let me know if you do the licks, bites, taste. We all do it. Kids' meals, they're the worst. Anyway, so, hey Sarah. So those licks, bites and tastes. She's actually thinking about food for about an hour less now because she just plans that meal in. Now, is this perfect? Is this the end of the road? Is this like, yeah, I'm sorted? No, it's going to be an ongoing thing. But she's starting to question her beliefs a bit more now. Now she's saying, going in and saying, okay, yeah, but it's not as tasty. This is the next one. It's not as tasty. Ever said that? It's not as tasty though. It's like the garlic bread, the breadsticks and all that. It's not as tasty. I want something else. So then what we did, we went one step further with this. What's tastier? How you feel after, when you feel that sense of achievement, when you feel like you've kept to the plan, or 5 minutes of feeling good in the mouth. That's it. A little bit of taste, yeah, a little bit of taste. Mouth feels good. Taste buds excited for a little bit, but then how do you feel after? Well, I always feel rubbish. I feel like I've ruined my dinner. I feel like I'm not actually hungry when I have my dinner then. Hey, Sue. And then it's a case of, okay, what's actually tastier? The sense of achievement, the fact you're enjoying your dinner. Because now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is your meal now tastier? Is your meal now tastier because you're actually a little bit hungry? Anyway, I hope that helps. Like I said, 20th of October, 8 p.m, I'll be doing a free live training, how to feel in control of your food again and overcome comfort eating. So if you want more information about that, I'm going to put the link to the group in the comments. Make sure you join that group. There'll be a few questions regarding whether you want access to that. If you put yes on that, I'll make sure you're tagged in the event. And then I'll just be live in that group on that evening. There will be a replay for you if you miss it live. And I hope to see you then. Any questions, let me know and I'll see you soon. Take care.